It's time for Breaking Chains with Healthy Monday, where we will discuss spiritual, mental, and physical health issues. It's Breaking Chains with Healthy Monday on YAT Radio.
Good evening and welcome to Breaking Chains right here on YAT Radio. I am Reverend Roderick Williams. I'd like to say good evening to everyone and thank you for turning us on tonight. Welcome.
You've been listening to Breaking Chains with Healthy Monday on YAT Radio. Tune in next week, same time.
Go to our website,
blogtalkradio.com/YAT Radio, or call in 858-35.
Okay, we had to cut him off. He just interrupted our call right then. But anyway, good evening and welcome to Breaking Chains with Healthy Mondays. I'm Reverend Roderick Williams, and this is our first time having a show again. We're excited about it. Thank you for joining in. The purpose of our show is to talk about holistic health, whether it be in your physical, spiritual, or mental. And tonight we will be focusing on our mental issues. And I'd like to introduce everyone that's on the line with us tonight. We have Ms. Theola Bright that's on with us tonight. Good evening, Ms. Theola. How you doing?
Good evening. I'm doing great. Can't wait to get started.
We also have on the line with us tonight Reverend Katrina Kennedy. Good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good evening to you all.
We also have on the line Ms. Nicole Spears. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm doing awesome. Thank you.
Okay, great. Tonight we're going to be talking about something. Let's first start off the purpose of the show. There's a lot of things that's going on in our communities and around our whole country, around the world, period. Different things that are happening in our health life, whether it be in our physical, mental, or spiritual lives. And a lot of things are being distorted, a lot of lies are being put out there, and a lot of things are not just really being talked about. So we want to focus on talking about these issues, putting them out in the front, and coming up with some solutions of how we can help people and come with some better solutions. So we just want to jump in tonight and just go in with that. So I'm going to adjust some things, and I would like to really start off with Ms. Theola, because I know, Ms. Theola, you deal with a lot of holistic health stuff. So let's turn it over to you and tell me a little bit about what you do as far as being in the health world.
As far as what I do with you got an echo there.
Dealing with health.
Oh, dealing with health. Well, I'm a health coach, and I have maybe more than 25 years of research into healthy eating and living. And I practice what I preach so that I am an example of what I say. I've just published a book about 3 years ago called Vegetarian Soul, and I have some people draw back when I say vegetarian, but you can always throw your meat in if that's what you feel like you got to have. But I tell them also that the Lord, when He created us, put us in a garden, not on a farm. And we had everything we needed there without killing. So, killing to get flesh didn't come until after the sin with Adam and Eve. But I also adhere to the dietary laws of the Old Testament, which is in the 11th chapter of Leviticus. So most of the things that's in my book, other than information on how to shop, what to look for, I called it Vegetarian Soul, the teaching cookbook, but it's more than just a cookbook. It teaches you what to be aware of, like the GMOs and the artificial things in the foods that are causing mental and health problems. So I'm so glad that you're addressing mental health tonight, because I want to come to you from a spiritual standpoint as well as a physical one from what we consume.
Okay. I do believe, though, that I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get rid of this echo that I'm hearing, and I'm not having any luck right now. And that's what happens when you get your first show and get all the kinks out. So, Ms. Spears, talk to me about mental health. You had a testimony the other week when we did our community forum, and I would like for you to share that, and I want you to chime in on the issues of mental health.
Well, I have one person, as you know, that she gave her testimony, and I also suffer from mental illness with anxiety and OCD. I think a lot of the issues in the black community is we are in denial that something growing up from generation to generation, we were either just told we were crazy, or we were ignored, or we were told we need Jesus, and that would be the midst of how we handled mental health. A lot of the children, they're dealing with PTSD, and we only associate PTSD with wars. Well, these children are watching traumatic things growing up that a lot of us as adults have never seen before. So they're pretty much suffering with mental illness. The two people that I have in mind all the time, and I think of all the time, are the two young men that watched their friend Michael Moore get killed. That, to me, is a very traumatic situation. And I often am concerned to check on their mental health to see how they're doing, how they're coping with what they actually saw. But I don't know if they're okay, or if anyone is checking on them, if they had counseling, or if, like the stereotypical black family, we just brush it off and try to move on and pretend as if it's something that we should deal with on everyday life. So as far as my experience with mental illness, I was diagnosed twice. Being stubborn, and I don't know if that comes with the culture as well. I denied it the first time. The second time, I accepted it because it came from an entirely different doctor, and I didn't even ask to be diagnosed either time. This is something that they did. So as far as mental health is concerned with me, I think we do need to stop pushing it off. We need to actually focus and see what's going on with us mentally, because it matters, so we can understand day-to-day life and know how to cope with everything. And that's something we don't do in the black community at all. We just
Right.
live. We don't try to learn to cope with the things that are going on and understand that sometimes we do need medicine. No, I'm not saying go and get addicted to, there are different drugs out there that you go get addicted to. And like the previous young lady said, there are natural things that you can do as well to help with your mental illness. But we're not doing anything. We're watching our sisters and brothers get beat down or raped, and we're going to bed, and that's it. We're waking up, or we're having to deal with how are we going to eat the next day, and then we're trying to go to school. The children are trying to go to school and figure out how they're supposed to learn. These are things that are actually and most definitely contributing to mental health issues in the black community, and no one is paying attention to it.
And I agree. I agree with that. Go ahead, Ms. Field.
What I was going to say is that, well, first of all, you've got to stop claiming mental illness, because words have power. Don't say anything that you don't want it to be, because mental illness is not of God. He gave us a sound mind, and we have to concentrate on what, the Bible tells you that he whose mind is stayed on the Lord has perfect peace. There are things that are traumatic that happens in our lives, all of us, and you can choose to hold on to it or process it and move on. The thing that's in our society that holds us back is that counseling. When you say to someone, well, let's go to counseling, or she needs counseling, say like with the children that witness a traumatic thing like murder or something like that, they do need the counseling. But the first thing our people say is, I'm not crazy. I don't need to see a psychiatrist. And that is something we need to get over, because there are doctors for everything. And there are doctors for the mind, people who have studied how to get over trauma, especially for a young mind. But sugar is the main cause of all the mental illness. If you will read the book, if you will make a note to get a copy of this book and read it, it explains it all. How sugar is the cause of all the addictions. It's a cause of the allergies. It's caused all the mental illness that you speak of now, and it's not hereditary. You can get rid of it, just by eliminating sugar from your diet. Now, I know that sounds so simple that you say, I don't believe that. But you try it. You'll find that you are more addicted to sugar than you think you are, because they put sugar in everything. Everything. Read the ingredients, the labels on your foods, your products, and you'll see there's some kind of glucose, dextrose, maltose, maltodextrin, high fructose, some kind of sugar. And some of them have 3 and 4 different kinds of sugar. You've seen how the kids bounce off the wall when you give them candy. And a lot of people won't even give their kids anything sweet late at night because they won't even go to sleep. It makes them hyper. When you want some energy, the first thing you pick up, or you think about is something sweet, a candy bar. It picks you up, yes, but it lets you down big time, and it lets you down with what they call depression. And we go to the doctors, and they give us these drugs that have side effects. And you end up having to take more than one drug, one for the side effects, one for whatever it is that you think you have. I say the mind controls the body. And if you can control your mind, self-control, which is one of the fruits of the Spirit, you can overcome your mental illness. And the first thing I ask you to do is read this book. It's called Sugar Blues by William Duffy, Dufty. Sugar Blues. You can get it at the library, or you can just purchase it if you want on Amazon. But he tells you why and how sugar causes mental illness. It's the same thing with the addiction of alcohol. People think that they're addicted to the alcohol, but actually they're addicted to the sugar that is used to make the alcohol. When you go into rehabilitation, what they give you to substitute for your addiction is candy, chewing gum, sugary things. All I ask is that you try for 30 days. Psychiatrists say that if you can stay off, or if you can change your habits for 27 days, 3 weeks, I say 30, you can stay off of it forever. You have the free will to eat what you want. But if you eliminate sugar from your diet, I can assure you, your problems, anything that you have mentally, will go away. I stand behind that.
Okay. I tend to I do agree with that. So here's something here. I have to come from this direction of a people out here that don't have that mindset to focus in and chime in on that. Because you made a statement that God gave us minds and we have the free will, we have a sound mind. So let's talk about it. God did that. Okay. So let's talk about the people that we see walking down the streets that are talking to themselves, that are going through certain things. Let's talk about the people that don't have an understanding of how to come and get through this. Let's talk about the people that are going through a situation where they don't know what's good for them, what's bad for them, what's healthy, what's non-healthy. Reverend Kennedy, can you chime in on that with me?
I am so glad that you asked me to chime in because I was listening. And although I do agree with it being a mindset and sugar taking over the body, but I tend to think that when a mind is attacked by mental disorder or a post-traumatic stress syndrome, it's a chemical imbalance. And I choose to say that, like Ms. Spears said, you do need to learn to trust doctors. We walk around in denial, and we find ourselves in a place of darkness, and we don't know how to trust a doctor. I'm not saying that we're supposed to just go directly and start taking the medications and things, but if you find yourself in a dark place, where you don't know how to pull yourself up out of the bed in the morning, or you don't even know how you got from point A to point B.
Right.
We need to learn to be a little bit more trustworthy and go to doctors. I think as a black race, we just want to handle everything because we were designed to just be strong and independent and try to just make things happen on our own. And we fail to realize that God put these doctors in place for us, number one, to be able to trust all of the years of schooling and everything that they have gone through. And I don't know about you all, but there are times that I feel like I need someone that has a little bit more insight on what it is that I'm going through. You know, Ms. Viola, I agree with you wholeheartedly that diet is key. But then I also look at so many of our young people going through life having people tell them, oh, nothing's wrong with you, you know, and then they speak negativity over your lives and go undiagnosed, and we find ourselves in a death state, looking death dead in the face.
Yep.
So I believe it's a twofold thing. It's a twofold.
Well, don't overlook the fact that I did say they are psychiatrists, which are doctors of the mind. That you do need to see. It's the negative attitude that our people get when you mention that.
But you know,
I agree.
Here's something about but what you both said. I have to go a little further back. Okay. Here's something that I have for you. Okay. Our race of people have been enslaved for so long. Okay. For number one, in order for us to become a better race of people and to realize who we are, and to get back to our royal nature of living, because we are royal people, we are part of a royal priesthood, because we are a chosen people, and we have to continue to realize that. And I think that what happened is that we stopped teaching. Okay, we stopped teaching our generations of people about who we are and how to become better in who we are. And I think what happened was that, you know, we see a lot of things on Facebook, and I'm going to ask Ms. Spears about this when I finish, because I want her to chime in, because she's seen and read a lot of stuff on Facebook about what I'm about to say. We have forgotten about the facts and just kind of just put it into like a closet and sealed it away, that we were once enslaved people, okay? And no one since back in the 50s and 60s have been attacking and addressing this issue. Okay, no one wants to talk about it. No one wants to address it, but they'll put it in the movies. They'll put it on television. They put it in games. They put it all in front of our face. But we as a people don't want to address it and attack it the way we need to. So this is what the purpose of this show. We're going to attack what the enemy is trying, and we're going to come back at it, okay? Listen, being slaves has done a lot of damage to the mentality of our people, okay? Being enslaved has damaged the men's manhood. Okay, you are being taken away from your families, beaten, kicked, and murdered in front of your wives and your children. Okay, that's number one. So your manhood has been belittled. So number one, men today, not all men, some men, and the majority of the black men don't even know how to overcome that generational curse that has come on. People say there's no such thing as generational curses. I beg to differ. I beg to differ on that. There is a such thing as a generational curse. Okay? Because if you could get blood pressure, high cholesterol, and all these things hereditary, you can definitely get a closed mind through slavery through a hereditary standpoint. Okay? So that's number one. Number two, being a black man, let me speak for me right now. Being a black man, if I don't have people around me that are constantly, as I grew up, encouraging me and motivating me to move forward, and on the flip side, they're constantly tearing me down, saying negative things to me, that's going to do some damage to my mentality. Okay, let's be honest about that. And being on that road in my life, I haven't always been on this path right here. I've been in the dark area in my life, and I'm not blaming anyone, but I heard all of that negativity coming at me. I've heard things saying that you ain't going to amount to nothing, you ain't going to do nothing. So if you're constantly hearing this as a young man growing up, guess what? Why would you want to be positive when everybody looks at you negative? No one is teaching you positive. Everybody is teaching you negative. So yes, it does have an effect on your mentality. It ain't got a doggone thing to do with sugar, okay? I understand sugar. I was addicted to sugar. I love candy. I like putting a lot of sugar in my coffee. I like eating a lot of sweets. I like eating a lot of junk food. I do a lot of damage to my own body. Nobody's forcing me to do it. I'm just doing it, okay, because I enjoy it. But listen, the slavery thing, we as a people still are tearing each other down now, okay? We don't lift each other up. We're not encouraging our young people to lift themselves up. So we still have a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of catching up to do when it comes to being a people, a race of people that can overcome mental health. Listen to what some of the stats say. And listen, we got to keep it real with this thing here. It says mental health, here's a myth. Mental health problems don't affect me. Now that's a myth. The fact is that mental health problems are actually very common. Listen, 1 in 5 American adults experience a mental health issue. 1 in 10 young people experience a period of major depression. 1 in 25 Americans live with a serious mental illness such as schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, a major depression. Suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States and has accounted for a loss of 40,000 American lives each year. Those are facts. Those are facts. So let's talk about something else that comes with facts. Listen, what about drug use? What about your mama who was smoking crack, smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol while she was pregnant, and when she came and had you be born, you was addicted to drugs while you was in your mama's belly. You was addicted to drugs when you got here. So they call themselves giving you medicine, saying you ADHD, AAD, whatever all those letters are. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it came from a reason. Something happened for you to do that. We didn't come into this world automatically with mental problems. We put ourselves in those situations because of depression, because of poverty, because of loss of jobs, because of slavery, because of things that we were never able to overcome. So now is the time to break those chains. Now it's time to overcome. Now it's time to start educating and teaching the people. Ms. Spears, chime in, please.
Okay. Look, you have to let me know which way to go because I can be far left, but I appreciate
you go the way that your spirit is leading you to go. Just go in. Take your gloves off and let's get in.
Okay, well, we're going to get in. I got to add to that because he knows these are things. I work with the youth all the time. I also deal with adults on a regular basis. And my disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, but I'm very observant to what's going on. I'm very observant to everywhere and everyone who I'm around. And the situation as far as this mental illness is concerned, yes, I think it's a whole lot deeper than sugar. I do believe that it's part of PTSS, which is post-traumatic slave syndrome. We, back in those days, from a lot of my readings, we had to deal with things because we weren't allowed to see a doctor. Going to a doctor to see a psychiatrist back in those days was a privilege. We didn't have those privileges. So our ancestors at those times had to figure out whatever way they knew how to subside whatever their issues were, because all the things that they thought that they seen, it did make them stronger, but mentally it made them weaker. So they had to deal with it. So when you have hostile slaves raise hostile children. Hostile children raise hostile children. Hostile children raise hostile children, and hostile children raise hostile children. This is where the generational curse comes from. So if you have parents today who are abusing their child or using profanity to curse their child, or is always raising their voice at their children, or who shows no love for their child, they got that from somewhere because they were raised the exact same way, and now they're raising their children the same way they were raised, not thinking they're doing anything wrong. They need just as much help mentally as their child is now going to need the same help. And you can't tell them they're doing wrong because they think they turned out fine. So they have mental illness or mental issues, should I say, and they don't even know they have them. So as far as going to tell these people you have to do this or that, they're going to look at you like you're crazy because first you have to try to Let them know something's not right. This is not right what you're doing, because this has been a generational issue with them all of their lives, the lives before them, their grandparents, their great-grandparents. This is how they were raised, and it all evolved from slavery, every last bit of it. So these are the issues that I try to attack in the community. When I see children that come to me that have issues at home and they don't know how to speak to their parents, they'll come to me and tell me what's going on. I've heard the stories about being molested. And I agree, we do need to talk. But what I've noticed with the youth so far, they don't mind talking. They don't mind you grabbing them, giving them a hug, because they are yearning for that. They need that so bad. Whereas the adults in these situations don't want it. The children want the attention and the love. And I give them all as much as I can. But the parents, you can't persuade the parents because they're not on the same level as the child. These children are reaching out for attention. I read posts daily where a child will say, I have no reason to live anymore. They're screaming for help, screaming for it. And we're bypassing and saying, there's nothing wrong with this child. Because if I go read those posts after they make those posts and I go read the comments, there are none. No one has paid that child no attention. But as soon as that child commits suicide or go out and rob a bank or do something else, all I can see is they gave you the warning sign. I know they have close family and friends on their social media, and no one has paid them any attention. And they've given you all the signs that they need. Those are mental issues. That child is dealing with something, and we as a black community, we just push it away like, oh, there's nothing wrong. And that's the thing we have to stop. You have to stop pretending like there's nothing wrong, or she just needs to go sit down somewhere, or she just needs her butt whooped, or she just needs to go to sleep, or she just needs to go have a drink. We've got to stop making excuses about the things that we go through on a daily basis, because it's hard. It is hard. These children in today's society, these millennials, are living lives like they're 30. They're having to do things that adults have to do because their parents are not doing it. So we have to figure out a way, when we notice these and see these symptoms of these children lashing out the way they do, it's not normal. It's normal for them because that's the way they've been growing up, is their norm, but it's nothing normal about it. And you want to know what's going on with crime and all this other stuff going on, it's all mental. And I agree, the mind does lead the body. That's the strongest element we have. And when it's messed up, now you have people robbing, killing, stealing, being disrespectful, molestation. You have all kinds of things going on in the black community. And the first thing we say is, oh, they're just bad. No, they didn't come out the womb bad. Something happened. Whether their parents were bad and they mentally saw that. I had a child yesterday in one of my meetings. He followed somebody else and was about to wear a certain attire. Young man. And his relative stepped in and said, no, you're not. He reinforced what he needed, whereas other parents or other aunties and grandparents, that child would have walked out that home looking like anything. And mentally, he's just following somebody who he loves. And if he didn't have her to enforce what's right, can you imagine how he would have grown up or how he's going to grow up? Right. No, this is not what you're supposed to do. That's mental, because he's mentally gaining everything and watching everything this person is doing, and he's mimicking it. But this other person who knows that's not right, he's reinforcing what really is right and changing his mindset, because as youth, their minds are so strong. They're absorbing everything. And if you don't get in their head and fix it, then you don't know what type of product you're going to end up producing. And that's the issues we're dealing with. You can't, like you said, Ron, you can't just, if you see a child going through something, you can't pull them to the side and pat them on the back and say, baby, you need, you're not handling today's youth that way. I don't handle today's youth in that silent, sugar-coated voice, because they're not hearing you. Social media is raising our children. So if you're trying to go to a child and say, baby, I know you're going through rough, the first thing that child going to look at you and say is, up you. You're not going to get that same sweet, loving, tender message back, because they don't even know how to use that. So you have to approach these children, because they are mentally challenged. You have to approach these children with almost an abrasive type love. You have to think they're going to school Monday through Friday, and they're not comprehending because they're not even learning about themselves. You have to think from K-5 all the way up, they're being taught that they were beaten. They're being taught that their savior is a white God or Santa Claus. So you're already discrediting the black man. So these things our children are not even, because they're not even interested in. So when we hear that our children are dropping out of school, I kind of understand why. Give me something that I want to hear about. If all you're going to, when you talk about the black race, you're going to talk about me being beat, or you're going to talk about how bad we're oppressed, that's depressing. But when you talk about the white man in the European Western civilization, you talk about lifting them up. No, a lot of them don't want to hear about that. So the dropout rate is high because they have nothing to learn. They have nothing in common. Then you have children with mental illnesses who didn't even get a chance to bathe last night. And now you're sending them to school to learn. It's not happening. It's not going to happen. Or they didn't eat last night because their parents didn't come home. They're not going to school to learn. They're just there. All of this is mental issues that you have to deal with. And a lot of it, I agree, it can be discussed. You don't have to have medication for a lot of this. I agree. I'm the one, I would prefer a natural herb than just going to get any type of medication because of the side effects. I don't like man-made situations. I don't trust it. I don't trust medication simply because of our history, because of the Tuskegee experiment, because of what they gave to the Indians. And you know, if you don't learn your history, you're bound to repeat it. So that's why a lot of people, black people, are scared to even go to the doctor because of that part of the history that they know. But all my doctors are black, so I'm not concerned about those issues. So we have to stop and see what's going on, and we have to talk to them in an abrasive kind of like love to get their attention. Because if you come to me and say, baby, you got to lower your sugar intake, they're probably going to look at me and laugh. And I'm not saying that to be disrespectful because I can see where you're going with that. But in today's society, you have to almost grab them and ring them up and do what needs to be done to get their attention in order to fix it. And sometimes sugar is all they have to eat at night. So you have to take all of that into consideration.
Wow.
Well,
absolutely correct. I like that. So if we could take a break right now. Hold on, Ms. Theola. We need to take a break right now. Take a pause right now. We'll be right back. You're listening to Breaking Chains with Healthy Mondays, where we're concentrating on the mental health issue right here on Blog Talk Radio, YAT Radio.
It's Breaking Chains on YAT Radio. Call in and join the conversation.
Call us.
858-357-9137 or log on to blogtalkradio.com/YAT Radio.
All right. Welcome back to Breaking Chains with Healthy Mondays on Blog Talk Radio. Good evening. How you doing? My name is Reverend Roderick Williams, and we're talking about mental health tonight, and we thank you for chiming in on us. We got some special guests on the phone with us tonight. We have Miss Theola Bright, we have Reverend Katrina Kennedy, and we have Miss Nicole Spears, and we're going to get back into our conversation. Miss Theola, you can go ahead and pick up where you were about to start up.
I was going to say, we have an elephant that we have to eat. And how you do it? One bite at a time. The old African proverb says, each one, teach one. And I agree that a mind is a terrible thing to lose, because when someone is mentally ill, how do you reach them? How do you get to them to make for anything to make any sense to them? So I say to you, and I know some of you, or both of you disagree, you've got to change their diet. They're brought up on sugar. It's in their formula. It's in the fruits that they eat, their cereal, all day long, every day. Sugar, sugar, sugar. On an average, more than 100 pounds of sugar. It affects your mind. And the Sugar Blues book, please read it before you say no. Your sugar is not the problem. Okay, generational first. We didn't eat sugar before. It was just cane juice and honey. When we started eating processed food, that's when we started getting all the health problems. Not only mental health, but all the other health problems too. those drugs that they give you, God didn't create us to live on drugs. He created all the medicines, all the natural cures we need, even for depression, if that comes upon us. And it does, because you remember Elijah, he got depressed when Jezebel was after him. Jonah ran away when he was asked to do something. Moses. There were many people in the Bible. David, his child was sick. We do get depressed, but it's normal, and we can snap out of it. It's when it lingers, and they start saying chemical imbalance. The thing that's causing the chemical imbalance is the intake of sugar.
And I agree. I hear what you're saying.
I would like you to watch the movie Side Effects. It's based on and the drugs. Did you
what
see
I want to add to what you're saying? Yeah, I'm saying I'm going to watch it. I really do want to watch that.
Please watch Side Effects, because it gives you the name of those drugs and what they're doing to people.
And I believe that. But what I want to add to what you're saying is, I hear that you're saying it's sugar, but what we used to, or what our ancestors used to have, they don't have access to that anymore. We're talking about poverty-stricken children. They don't have access to go out and get the proper herbs or the proper foods and eliminate honey. Like you said, sugar is in all of the foods. So they're eating McDonald's.
Well, that's why I said each one teach one. When you know better, if you're wise, you do better. And
but you have to be able to afford it. You have to be able to afford that type of lifestyle. You have to be able to afford it. You go to the hood, and I go tell someone who's living on.
You can afford anything. You can afford anything you want.
No, I can't agree with that.
On that note right there, there's something I want to say about that there. Now, being able to afford anything that you want, healthy food is the most expensive food that you can buy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because
so
it's real. Because it's real.
I understand that. But when Ms. Spears is saying, though, that when you have people that are living on food stamps and fixed income, their income is not going to go. Let's be honest. A lot of people are not trying to say we're gonna, because they're mentally focused on what we're being put in front, what's being put in front of us, as far as the processed food, and as far as burgers, fries, chicken, all of these things that they're putting in the grocery stores. This is what we've been conditioned to bring into our homes to feed our families. So when you say, okay, it's time to change our diet, I agree with you. Each one teach one, each one reach one. We have to do that, of course. But when we talk about the financial standpoint of the black family, we get into a whole different arena of what we need to discuss on that, because most black families do not have the money to go to Whole Foods or to the health food store to buy those certain things, because for number one, the health food store does not take EBT. Okay?
At all.
They don't take it. So we have to find a way to.
I'll tell you something. They have more than just junk food in the stores. You look at some of those baskets; they be loaded up with nothing but junk food and garbage, and they got vegetables and fruits and things in those stores that they could buy if they knew that these were better for them and wanted to be better health. Now they can take money and throw all these parties every holiday. They got something new to wear. They have their nails and their hair done. Okay.
Right. But what we're trying
can I chime in for just 1 second?
Yes, go ahead.
It is. If we could just agree to disagree, that right now it seems like we need to be willing to teach our people the right way. Okay, I don't disagree with either one of what anybody is saying, but I would like to say this. How many people will go in the grocery store and if somebody calls you and say, okay, I'm going to teach you how to shop, even with a place, even going into a place where you can use your EBT. How many people are going to actually, A, ask somebody to help them, and B, be willing to receive the advice that they get. So it's more than just, we go and we get ready to go to a party. That's because people don't know. We are
right.
not, we have to really reach our people on the level that they're on.
Absolutely. You have to meet them where they are.
Well, that's what I want to do, is meet them on the level where they are and teach them better, because there are other people who are on EBT that eat healthy. This is their choice.
Right, but that's that's where I'm coming from. I agree with everything you're saying, but your mentality has to be mentally prepared to do what you're telling them to do. It takes a certain type of, I don't want to say per se maturity, because it's really not that, but if you've lived your entire life, it's like telling a smoker, okay, you've been smoking for 10, 20 years, tomorrow you can no longer smoke. It's not going to happen that easy. So
no, they're
going to die.
People,
right.
Yeah, it's a gradual change, because we were brought up that way. This is the way we were brought up. I was brought up eating the same things, and you're talking to a person who used to eat a whole box of, what do they call them, Hershey's candy bars with the almonds in it, instead of selling it.
How well you had to prepare your mentality to do that. You are on a whole nother level. You were able to prepare your mental to receive, and you were ready. It's like somebody trying to lose weight. You have to be ready for that type of challenge.
That's true.
That's true. Those who go seeking will find. Those who go seeking to do better will find. Those are the ones that I...
Majority are not. Majority have no clue. Like, you just educated us and told us that sugar is part of the enemy. No one else knows that now. I didn't know that. I had never heard of that before. And I read every day. That's my children hide my Kindle when they want to make me mad. The average black person is not doing all that reading, and I read and I didn't know that. So how
I have one more I want you to look up too, because if you read, I know you're going to find the truth.
Okay.
I want you to look up population control with food.
Absolutely. I'm already into that.
Good. Okay.
I know what
you have to first get the people addicted to the foods that will kill them.
Yep.
And sugar is the key. If it's not a natural...
Again, I don't disagree with you, but you have to be mentally ready to receive what you're telling people. And these generations, these children, they're not. And I'm probably going to make you throw the phone. But you also said that God didn't give us drugs. Well, yes, He did. You may not want to hear this, but marijuana is grown. He gave us that. Marijuana is grown from the earth. He gave us that. And nobody's going to tell me, and my disclaimer, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I don't smoke marijuana, I just don't. I never had any desire to. But no one can convince me that marijuana is a drug. My opinion is, if God grew through it, it was for us to use. Like you said, He grew tomatoes, and maybe on the side of tomatoes, He grew that marijuana plant for us to calm our nerves. We don't know.
There's also poison mushrooms, too. You have a choice.
Yeah, but poison mushrooms don't kill you. Marijuana hadn't killed anyone. I don't know not one person that died over marijuana. No one. They died over the man-made drugs, crack cocaine, heroin. I don't know, and trust me, I know plenty of people who smoke marijuana now or who have. I know people who lived off marijuana when I was getting my undergrad. I don't know anyone who died over marijuana. So no one
I have
give us that.
Okay, I have smoked marijuana back in the day.
Okay.
And it affects your mental health. It kills brain cells. Your memory fades with marijuana. Marijuana also has scars that causes lung cancer. Marijuana is also sprayed with paraquat by the government to cause lung problems.
But that's every food in the world now is being sprayed by the government.
Yes.
So marijuana is no different.
Can I chime in on that right quick? Can I say something about that? Can I really say something? Now, Anybody that's listening to this, they definitely going to be mad at me, but it's okay. I'm used to that. Listen, the government trying to kill all you anyway. Okay? Let's get that understood. And if you don't believe it, go and look up the Bilderberg Group and see what they got planned for you in the next 30 years. They're trying to knock down the population of the world anyway. So, listen, they are putting all the bad food in your community. Let's just cut to the chase, okay? Sugar is a problem. Sugar is a major problem. But we got bigger problems than sugar because the mental stability of the people says that I got to eat McDonald's, I got to eat Burger King, I got to go to churches, I got to eat Popeyes, I got to eat me some Lay's potato chips, I got to drink me a Coca-Cola, and I got to go get me a Snicker bar for dessert. So that's what the mentality is telling us. Why is it telling us that?
Dipping in business now.
Listen, the ball was dropped a long time ago. We're not here to go and debate anything. We are here to teach. So the teaching moment is this. Yes, the government wants you dead anyway. Okay? Take it or leave it. If you don't believe it, look up and finish looking at it online and learn all the facts about it. They don't care about you. We costing them too much money, as you say. But let me tell you something else that is factual. That guess what? We are the lowest poverty people in the world, but we spend the most money in the world. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
We spend $12 trillion a year. $12 trillion. I didn't say $12. I said $12 trillion a year just in the black community. So let me tell you something. If we can't get our mental stability right, we're going to be carrying this world for a long time on our back. We built this country, and we still carrying it on our backs, spending $12 trillion a year. We pay for everybody. You understand? We take care of everybody living in this country. The black people do that. Okay, let's get that understood. See, listen, I'm about breaking chains on the radio to break chains. It don't matter who it upsets. It's about breaking chains. It's about taking the chains off your life, off your mind, off your ankles. Wherever you got those chains, we going to break those chains and pull those strongholds down. We spend $12 trillion a year. We can take those $12 trillion a year and get our own country, move somewhere where we can take our own self. We can grow gardens and farms all over this world with $12 trillion. The debt is about $20 trillion. They can take our money and pay the debt off of this country in 2 years. Okay? So we got to educate, we got to teach. I'm not here to play with nobody. I'm not here to sugarcoat nothing. We talking about sugar, but I'm not finna sugarcoat this with none of that. Okay? We got to be real. Miss Theola, you're absolutely correct. The government's putting a lot of poison in our foods. If you go over here on St. Stephen's Road, over here in 5 Points or somewhere, you'll see where the date of the chicken or the meat is got about 7 more days before it's bad. But if you go way out there, Airport Boulevard, around there in Schillinger Road, Cottage Hill in Schillinger, you'll see the best looking food, the best looking grocery stores. The streets are being cleaned up. The garbage man running every day. But if you come over here in my neighborhood, he run 1 day a week. The streets is filthy and all of that. Why? I'm not blaming anybody, but we got to be a better people ourselves because we dependent on the government too much to take care of us, and they don't give a dog about you.
No, they don't. And they don't even you don't even hear about recalls anymore. And just recently, because I have a subscription to government recalls, how have you heard on the news about Tyson's chicken being contaminated and being recalled?
Yes, I have.
Who else?
I have. I heard about it today. Thanks to you, Miss Theola.
That's from the email that I sent to you?
Yes. Mm-hmm. I read it. But I was going to chime in and just say one thing.
Early today, and I saw them loading up with the Tyson's chicken. And then they get the salmonella and they're sick. They don't know why. They went to the doctor gave them drugs.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that's what I was going to say, that $12 trillion that we're spending. I didn't hear Reverend Williams say anything about that $12 trillion being spent on medicines or doctor's bills. I'm thinking that's just $12 trillion a year being spent at the mall and on hair care products or on extensions for the hair
products and new clothes, new hair. Yeah, so, all that. Yeah.
Designer clothes, bags.
Right. Designer bags,
Yeah. So you say that, let me tell you something. Everybody listen to this. If you don't think that we have a mental issue in the black community, I just told you that we did. And I mean that we really do.
Absolutely.
We really do.
Well,
And Miss Theola, that part right there ain't got nothing to do with sugar. That right there got a lot to do with us just being thrown under the bus, and nobody's been able to get under that bus and help pull the people up out of it. Listen, when everybody steps up to the plate to try to help the black community, they murder them. They kill them. They slaughter them. Okay? So we too busy looking for a leader instead of looking in the mirror, seeing the leaders in ourselves and pulling ourselves out. See, we got to encourage ourselves. Right. We got to be about self-preservation. We got to be about self to help you. See, I got to pull myself up to help you out. You got to pull yourself up to help the next person out. We too busy hating on each other. We too busy doing different things to each other instead of doing things to where the real problem is. Let's get to the real problem. See, I want to get to the root of the problem.
How are you supposed to solve this problem? What is your solution?
Well, Ms. Theola, one of the things that you solve problems is you communicate, you teach, you educate. Exactly what we're doing right now tonight. We are educating. Right. We are teaching the people. Right. We got to let our voices be heard. Listen, one of the slogan for this ministry right here is what? Listen to it. It says, "Braving a mark that can't be erased by breaking the chains of silence." We got to be. Right. We got to stop being so quiet and passive. We too passive. We too busy saying, "Okay, it's okay." No, it ain't okay no more. It ain't okay no more. I go to my grave teaching and educating the people and shutting other people down that ain't got no good to help the people with. I don't even want to listen to them. I will hang up, click them off, whatever, dismiss them, kick rocks, chase cars, do something, but don't poison the people's mind no more.
Yeah. And we have to teach collectivism. That's something that I talk about all the time in the black community. Every other race know what that word means. We are so busy trying to fend for self. It's like we're still fighting for the survival of the fittest. We want to focus on individualism. We need to start focusing on collectivism. Until we learn how to do that as a society, as a race, as a community, we won't get it together. Because if you notice, when you look at the current election, it don't matter what Donald Trump did. I don't care what that man did. He said before he even was elected, he can go shoot somebody dead in the street. He knew they would still vote for him. You know why he knew that? Because he knew that there's unity. At the end of the day, he knew that he would have their vote because they believe in collectivism. There is nothing that man could have done, and they wouldn't have voted for him. Us, as a race, I'm going to tell you how backwards we are. And when I say us, I mean we. I would never separate myself from my race because I am who we are. Right. But what we do is, somebody can step on your shoe and we'll kill them dead. But as soon as the white man shoots our sons and daughters down, what are we doing? I forgive him. Do I need to repeat that?
And we marching, talking about we should overcome.
It was a good one. You could repeat it. Go ahead and repeat it. That was a good one.
That's exactly what we do. We forgive the white man for everything. Anything.
But we ain't got nothing to say about the brother shooting the other brother down.
For brushing up against our shoulder. We'll kill them dead for brushing up against our shoulder. If that's not a mental concern, I don't know what is.
So
the thing is, we're killing each other by selling drugs to one another. We're killing each other by trying to keep everybody down. We don't want to help the other black business owner. We don't want to help the other entrepreneur that's trying to get started. We just want to keep everybody stagnated. We're killing ourselves. We're killing our own people.
Think about where it came from.
Mental health.
What did they do back in the slave days? They were fending for themselves. And no generation has stopped to say, stop, we don't have to do that no more. We don't have to hide from each other anymore. You know, back in the slave days, they had to separate to run away. And that's what we're still doing.
This is true.
You run that way, and I run this way. Oh, master going to come get you. We don't have to do that anymore. But the generational mentality is still there. So before we let the next black man get up and help, we be like, you on your own, because if it's too many of us, they're going to destroy us all. That's the mentality we have, because we're not, like y'all said, teaching this. We're not teaching this.
We have what they call now volunteer slavery.
Wow.
Okay.
I like that. Volunteer slavery. Y'all know I'm writing all this down, right?
Volunteer slavery. Because there are too many people who have come up from slavery and raised above that and taught others better, taught what they had learned. And that's what we got to do. And I'm so grateful for this radio show. I didn't think I will be able to say some of the things that I heard my brother Ron say. But you open the door, and hey, I've got information on everything that I have said. Anybody who wants a copy, I'll be more than happy to send it to you. I'll even find the movie and send it to you.
See,
but I want you to try one thing, just for yourself. Eliminate sugar just for 30 days.
That's a nice challenge. That's a nice challenge. I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that's listening. So I'm sure there are a lot of people that will agree with you, especially for my life.
Well, I just want us to see if we can come to some clear understanding on what sugar is. Now, are we talking about no Splenda, no artificial sweetener? Are we none of that? No sugar, no none of that. Just honey.
No sugar, period.
No sugar, period.
Miss Viola, I'm listening to you, but I just needed some clarity for the
honey only.
I'm listening to people that I slowly sip on this Diet Coke right now. I'm listening too.
Yes, Coke. Yeah, I hear that thing that's gonna clean my ear. You're not talking about the stuff that eats the batteries, all the corrosion off the battery.
Yes, the stuff that eat the corrosion off the battery. Correct.
My mental is not there yet. You see how much stronger yours is? I'm taking out my Diet Coke right now while you telling me to stay away from sugar. I'm looking at you on this phone like you crazy. How you think they gonna look at you?
Well, listen, I'm drinking on some water, some lime water, right? And I was thinking about just looking at this hack on Facebook. We were talking about Facebook earlier. So they got this thing that's called, is it a fact or is it a myth? You can take some Colgate toothpaste, Coca-Cola, shake it up, and put it around the rust on your sink, and it'll eat the rust away. Now, I know it's corrosion away from a battery.
Yeah.
I have to with Coca-Cola.
But what about the pipe? What about our pipe?
What about the price? Cheap.
I'm saying if it's gonna remove the rust and it's gonna remove the corrosion around from the battery, then what is it gonna do for the pipe?
Right. Well, it's the same thing in cereal. They have something in cereal that's in rat poison, but we still feed it to our children every day.
So yeah, I read
you talking
about the rat
poison? The rat poison that they give to people with blood thinners?
No, also in the cereal.
No, this is
talking about
cereal.
The cereal.
In everyday cereal that we feed our children, there's an ingredient in the cereal that's also in rat poison.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, you know how that little bit at it went to fall over, and nobody knows what happened. They said, well, she wasn't sick. Well, I don't know. She just fell dead.
So let me ask y'all something. Did y'all miss what I said about how they are really actually trying to kill you with every food that they put in your grocery store? Those are facts.
That and wrote it down.
It's fact.
Those are facts.
It's a fact.
So look that up. You will find that to be factual information. Listen, here's the thing, y'all. You say, how do we do this? This is a perfect start right here. Okay? This is a perfect start. So while we on the World Wide Web, I will honestly and openly say to the three of you ladies on this line right now, God bless you and thank you for being a part of this relaunch of Breaking Chains with Young Adults Talk, okay? This show has always been radical and off the cuff, okay? I don't want people coming on sugarcoating anything. So I'm going to say that again. Leave your gloves, your kid gloves, and your sugarcoating somewhere else. Don't bring it here, okay? Use it when I'm on commercial radio. You know, you gotta be very mindful when I'm on my day job. But when I'm on my night podcast, we don't have no gloves on. We don't bring the sugar to the table. So listen, let's talk about something else. Let's take this to another level here. We're talking about how things affected us mentally. We jumped in on slavery. I want to go back to that, okay? We got in on the food. We already know all foods that are not healthy or bad for you. The best thing for you to do is get you a piece of property and get you a garden and be done with it, okay? Grow your own foods. That's the best thing that you can do. Okay, let's be honest about it. There's no need for you to even discuss talking about what they're selling in the grocery store. You understand? Because it's not good for you anyway. No matter what it is, they are doing something to infiltrate our food systems that are going onto our bodies. So that's a proven fact. So the best thing I can tell you to do, get you some gardens going and grow your foods. All right. If you want chicken, grow your own chicken. Okay, and be done with that. So let's
programming. The programming comes from the media. It starts with the babies, the television bringing them up, and they value. Even if the parents are teaching them the right thing, and they see the wrong thing on the TV, then they're confused. They don't know who to believe. And with God being taken out of the school, they have no way of knowing what's right or what's wrong. So this is where you get them killing, because they've been brought up seeing killing on TV. You get the babies having babies because this is what they see on TV, sex in everything.
But Miss Fiola, that's absolutely correct. But going back to what I just said, it all started before where we are now in 2017. We have to take this back. I said a few minutes ago that we need to get to the root of the problem. 2017 is not the root of the problem. Okay, that's the tree that then grew up from the root. Okay, so let's go backwards.
Take it back to the Glen.
Let's take it on back. You talk about the killing. You're talking about babies having babies. That's been going on all of our generational lives.
Right.
You know, the slave masters was raping our young girls, raping our women. The slave master was killing all of our men to take our women from us. The slave master was selling off our sons into separating them from their mothers and their fathers and putting them out in the fields to do the work. They put into our minds. Listen, they put into our minds that guess what? The dark-skinned black man is worse off than the light-skinned black man. They taught us that the light-skinned black man was the house nigga and the dark-skinned black man was the field nigga. Let's talk about the word nigga. They say don't use that word. Let me tell you, I can use that word because let me tell you something. The word nigga didn't have nothing to do with being black, white, green, orange, or nothing. Okay, that's the ignorance of the slave master because he not only used that word, he allowed the Italians to use it, the Spaniards to use it, and it came up because they couldn't say Negro, which means black. Okay, that's the ignorance of them. So the nigger means ignorant. So if you really want to know facts, y'all, if you want to know the truth about things, we are not the niggers for real. Okay? So why do we get offended by being called that? Because we feel that it belittles us. And to a certain extent, it was put out there to belittle us. But if you are really looking at facts, we still are talking about facts here. We ain't niggas. None of us are niggas because we some educated black folks on here talking about some real educated stuff. See, listen, I'm going to go a little deeper than that. Let me tell you something. We come from kings and queens. We are truly royalty. Right. But let's talk about something about that. I'm going to go a little deeper again. The so-called kings and queens was the ones that sold us off into slavery in the first place. Okay? Because they wanted to grow their income and their royal bench and their royal whatever even more. So they were saying, okay, here he comes to buy some of these black folks, so we're going to sell them off. Okay, so there we go. Let's talk about that a little even deeper. Christopher Columbus is an ignorant man. He is definitely a liar because he can't discover something where somebody's already at. Okay? All right? The Indians were already there. Why did the such thing as cowboys and Indians hit the cinema and hit the big screen? Because the white man came over and he killed up all the Indians and took over everything that they had. That's why they're still fighting right now about land. Listen, we don't own nothing over here. This wasn't ours in the first place. It became ours because we had to be the one to come over here and build it up. We built this country. Right. We built this country with blood, sweat, and tears and people's lives. Okay? Understand that. All right? So the thing about it is that guess what? They are still trying to condition our brains through the television, through the media, through the World Wide Web, through these telephones, through cell phones. Just as I was coming in to get on this line at the studio, I was sitting at the red light, and I see a car full of young ladies. You know what they did at the red light? They got out of the car, turned up their radio, and started twerking in the middle of the street while they were filming themselves.
Wow.
This is what our sisters are doing. okay? And our young black men think that that's cute, all right? Our young ladies think that that is cute, all right? Nothing's cute about being ignorant, nothing whatsoever. You say, how can we help them? We have to do better about educating our people. We got to stop being in these four walls. We got to stop being quiet and passive. We got to stop saying that ain't my business. I ain't getting involved. Let me tell you something. If you love your people like you say you love your people, and I'm going to go something like this. I'm going to jump in the Bible. God said, guess what? You can't love me if you don't love the brother who you see every day, and you ain't never seen me.
Every day.
Right.
You ain't never seen me. And you say you love me, you lying. You lying.
Right.
Because if we were serious about our people, our communities would not look the way that they look.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've
That was a mouth. That was a mouthful. Okay. Sound like you're venting, brother.
Say again?
I said, it sounds like you venting. But
listen, that's
true.
what my show. Listen, one thing about me venting, I vent to educate. There's nothing I said out of anger. I ain't mad about nothing. I'm gonna educate. I'm gonna educate. And Miss Theola, I like the word venting because guess what? We all need to open up our vents and let them vent on out.
We do. That's what we do, and especially with the truth. And what you did say was the truth. And we are programmed. As a matter of fact, you can see how the media has programmed everybody because they look alike, they dress alike, they act alike, they talk alike, they say the same things, go to the same places. This is the way of the world. Now, how do we snatch one here and one there out of the world? And
we have to stop waiting. We have to start waiting on somebody else to help us. Like you said, when things happen that we think are positive in the poverty-stricken neighborhoods, if we get a Walmart, the first thing we say is, oh, man, God is so good. No, the white man that moved that Walmart in over there, now he's going to take more of your money. You don't even realize that you still hurting your own community. And so everything that glitters is not gold. Well, we could be doing this ourselves. We could get other black people, business owners, to bring their own stores into these black communities. We got the Arabs taking your money. You got all these other ethnicities with their gas stations and everything in your communities, and they're not putting any money back into your communities. None. They could have built a school with all the money that these other ethnicities are taking money from you. They could have built a school for the black community at this point. They're taking that money from you, they're sending it back home, and then their generation, once they get old and gray, they send that generation over here, and they're going to continue to bleed you dry of money. And we're not even stopping to pay attention to see what we're doing now. So that's crazy. And that's what we need to do. We too busy waiting on a savior, and I don't mean God's savior. I mean the white man or the Arab. Or
the white man, yeah.
Give us things that we can do for ourselves. We can educate ourselves because we have the financial means to do it, but we too busy giving it back to them. And we won't go down because we're labor whores. We don't want to do that to give our money away.
That's because we've been programmed to be instead of producing. We are the leading people of this whole wide world. Anything that we like, we buy. The market caters to us, and they put plenty of it out there for us to buy. But that's all we do is buy. That's why the gross national product rests on what we spend. That's why they show us. That's why they show us the villages and the rundown places in Africa. They don't show us the big cities because they don't want us to go back there. They want to keep us here because the money.
We keep this country going. $12 trillion a year. $12 trillion a year.
Yeah, I heard that.
I need to keep saying that. $12 trillion a year.
$12 trillion a year.
We keep this country going. You think they want you to go back to Africa? If they could send you back, they wouldn't build no ship to send you back. They want you to stay here. They want your money.
Because you keeping money in their pocket.
Exactly.
That's right.
Exactly.
They're keeping the money in their pocket, keeping their pockets stacked.
How do we teach our people, empower our people, and show them that they have power, this clout with their money?
We are doing it. Ms. Theola, we are doing it right now because listen to what you just said a few minutes ago. Whatever they see us doing much of, they build their trends that start behind it. No matter what it is. Listen, if you look around, young men start wearing their pants off their waist, down their butts. Every nationality, you see white young men, Mexicans, whatever, wearing their pants the same way. Okay, listen. They say that they hate us, they don't want to look like us, but they go get tan every day. Okay, all right. So here's the issue too. Let me tell you something. Here's something really funny that I find funny myself is that everybody that walks on this earth, everybody has come from the black man's seed. Every last one of them, no matter what nationality they are, they have come from the black man's seed. They will not admit that, but that is facts. And let me tell you something else. The one that hates us the most, the white man, guess what? If he stay above the ground after he died too long, what color does he turn? He goes back to his original black color.
That's right.
Quickly, yeah.
He goes back to his original color, black. So we have to realize one thing. We are the most powerful people on this earth. How do we educate and bring our people in? We have to continue to stop being passive, quiet, and start speaking out and breaking change. We have to start doing things in our community to change things. We have to get people accustomed to doing things differently. We have to start doing things in the community. We have to start letting people see us do things in the community. The other week when we had the community forum, Miss Spears was there. We have to do more of those. We don't have to do them to give people nothing. We need to do them to start educating. We send our students and children to school to learn what they want them to learn. We need to bring them to us so we can educate them on what they need to learn. And that's about who they are and where they come from and who they belong to.
Yeah, they need to know who they are, where they come from. You got to know where you came from before you can go farther.
You got to. History will repeat itself if we don't break the chain.
And they don't know about their royalty. They don't know that their ancestors were kings and queens.
Of course they don't. There's a song that the Sounds of Blackness made called Royalty. I play it all the time on the radio. It says that you're a royalty. You're not a thug. You're a king and a queen. You come from royalty. And that is the truth. That's where we come from. That is our inheritance. That's what we stand on. That's what I believe in. And that's what I educate young people on. That's what I talk about on the radio. And listen, if I can talk about it on the radio for a big corporate company, you think I ain't going to talk about it on this podcast right here that I own? This is mine. I can say what I want to say. You know, and I'm going to educate through this podcast. If they don't like it, so be it. Throw a rock and let them chase it. As simple as that.
Well, to anyone who is listening in who wants proof of what you just said, they can have their DNA tested. I don't care what nationality they are. And that DNA will lead them right back to Africa.
Exactly. They may not like it. They may not want to hear it. So what? So be it. So be it. It is what it is. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Those are facts. Those are facts. We got to teach the people the truth. People need to know the truth. Let me tell you, you know why Donald Trump is in office today? It ain't got nothing to do with votes. It ain't got nothing to do with the electoral vote. They put in office who they want to put in office. Okay? We paid them enough money. We paid them enough money for them to bamboozle us and hoodwink us. And we sit back and do nothing. But Donald Trump is in office for black folks to wake up. We're going to finally wake up. This is probably our time to wake up. You finna find out now that they really don't care about you. And what you going to do? You better know how to have survival skills because it's time. He's
in there to fulfill the book of Revelation.
It's time to be educated. That's the purpose of your life. You have a purpose for your life. You know, your purpose of life is to educate, teach, and to bring a strong people back together. We need to come back together as a people. That's the bottom line. We have to. And you know, it was something I listened to Miss Spears the other week at the forum. You know, I love to see when people have that radical about themselves because they're not afraid of anything. I love to have radical people that's not afraid of anything, that know how to speak sensible, that know how to talk like they're educated, and not being all ignorant, talking, oh, man, I don't give a damn, man, that's nothing. That's nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? You want to talk to me, come with an educated tone. Come with your educated sense. Don't come at me with all that side stuff, because I'm going to have to bring you back around and show you who I am. I'm not that person. I done been out in the streets. I done been out in the world. I done did those crazy things. But something came along one day and swept me up and brought me back to the light. You know what I'm saying? We all walk in the darkness. Every last one of us have. But it's time for people to educate each other and get out of that selfish pride. That pride comes before destruction. Before you know it, going to be a lot of people just falling off, just stuck in their pride. What we're doing tonight, this is nothing about pride. Because if we had pride, we wouldn't be doing this. We're doing something educational.
That's right.
We're bringing something and doing something informative. We're inspiring the people. We are nurturing them right now. And it's all within an orderly, spiritual manner. Guess what? We ain't beating no upside your head with no religion, with no Bible. We talking about facts. Even if we got to bring up the Bible, everything that's in the Bible is happening today. Everything that's happening today has already happened already. There's nothing new under the sun. What we're dealing with today, somebody else has dealt with it before. We just got to come with a different tactic. This is a new era. This is 2017. We have to learn to do things better. We got better technology. We got internet. We got all these things that we can educate. We can be educated people again because the internet is out here. They have it out here for you to learn and to see everything. Any book that you got, you can find it on the internet and read it to educate yourself. We have to teach people about educating themselves again.
Yeah, well, you got to find those who would like to read. Encourage them to read. Most of them don't want to read. When I was in the workforce, they told me, anything you don't want the blacks to know, put it in a memo.
And that's true. Yep. That's absolutely. But guess what? They ain't got to read what we saying. They can just turn their ears on and close their mouth and just listen.
All
right.
They
audio educate them this way too. So if we got to read to them, if we got to have a reading night, we'll have to have a reading night. We're going to educate the people. It's time. If we got to sit down like grown folks reading to children, that's what we got to start. If we got to deprogram them and then reprogram them, that's what we're going to have to do.
That's right. Because that's what we have to do. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Y'all made that commitment. You here. So I trust that you are committed to this. We on this thing and we still on. And y'all still on. Ain't neither one of y'all
we weren't committed.
Exactly. So you committed. So listen, here go 4 people right here. Where 2 or 3 are gathering it. Oh my God, don't get me started.
Yes. Come on with it. Well, just go ahead on with it, Reverend. You started. Go ahead and finish it.
It's already done. It's a done deal right now. We done broke some chain. Listen, 1 can slay 1,000, 2 slay 10,000. We got 4 on this doggone phone right here. We doing our thing right now.
Yeah.
So let's go in, lady.
Absolutely.
I'm enjoying this.
I'm with you. I really want to go back and touch on what Ms. Spears said about collectivism and not individualism.
Let's go with it.
If you don't mind, Ms. Spears, can you just shed a little more light on that? Because I was really enjoying it.
We got go in with that, Ms. Spears.
No problem. Collectivism is something, and I hate to categorize because I don't want the audience or anyone to think by any chance that I am racist or prejudiced in any means. I go by what's right. If you're on the right side of the fence, meaning right and wrong, then that's what I'm for. If you're on the wrong side of the fence, I'm not for you. So I'm for what's right. So whatever race you are, if you're for what's right, then I'm with you. So I have to say things like that because intuitively people would think or come to their own senses that I have some type of, racist atmosphere or prejudice even, because I can be racist. But when I say but collectivism is if you think about other ethnicities, if you think about the Jews, if you think about white people in general, if you think about the Arabs, they all, you don't hear about them. If you think about the Asians, you don't hear about them. You don't hear anything. You don't hear about them being arrested. You don't hear about them needing money. The Chinese have their hair salons, and the Arabs have their gas stations, and then you have the Jews with the hair products. and then you have the white people that own everything else. So what is happening is they collectively said, okay, my people, this is what we're going to do. We're going to get this product, or we're going to get this event or agenda, because every other race has an agenda. Black America is the only race that has no agenda. We can't even go to the government and ask for something in specific because it'll be too many hands raised. We don't even have one collective agenda that we can write on paper and everybody in the black community will agree on, because we have been so used to being individualists to where if I ask for freedom and equality for all, somebody in the back, some black person in the back gonna raise their hand and say, no, I don't want equality, I want this. So we get nothing. And that's what is happening with the country, is that these people collectively know how to stick together. They know how to unite for the cause and the betterment of their entire group. Black people cannot do that to literally save our own lives. And that's where we struggle, and that's going to be the fall of our demise, because we do not know how to do anything collectively together. We want things for ourselves. We don't care who it destroys, what man it destroys, regardless if it's our brother, our sister, our mother. If it's something we want individually, we tend to just go for that, and we don't care what nobody else say. We're happy for that moment. But we don't understand collectivism is one of the problems. And once we understand collectivism and know if we do things as a group, we can have more. And I mean more money, more power. Because like you said earlier, we put our money into parties, into businesses, or give it away. Imagine if every black athlete that left Mobile, Alabama, came back to Mobile, Alabama, and collectively, not individually, collectively put their money together. Do you know what we could do with that money alone?
You better say that.
Absolutely.
But guess what?
We could put that $12 trillion back into the community.
It could start there. It could start. Let me tell you something. We have our own black-owned bank right here in Mobile, Alabama. Everybody knows Commonwealth National Bank. Guess how much they have 2% assets in that bank from the black community. So guess what? That 98%, we have our money everywhere else in everybody else's bank,
except in Commonwealth Bank.
That is ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
Well, you have to know the circumstances with the banking as well, because I have invested money in Commonwealth Bank, and if you just leave your money there, you will end up with no money.
Okay.
Because of the monthly fees.
Exactly
the monthly fees will take more than interest you will get. You will not get enough interest to even cover your fees.
And let me break that down for you. My undergrad is in finance, and I study up on Commonwealth National Bank. Let me explain to you why Commonwealth National Bank, which is black-owned, as well as HBCUs, that, of course, they're not per se black-owned, but we know who they typically belong to. Let me explain to you why Commonwealth charges you. They don't have the assets. They don't have the high risk factors as the other banks do. You know why? Because we won't give them our money. If they can grow their portfolio, then they don't have to charge all these fees. They don't make enough money.
I understand that, but when the fee outweighs the amount of interest you get, you're losing money. No one wants to lose money. You want to make money.
Absolutely. But I'm explaining to you why it's like that.
It doesn't matter why I want to lose my money.
It definitely matters why. It absolutely matters why it's like that, because once you realize why, it's like solving a math problem. Once you find out the cause of what's going on, then you have a solution to fix it. We know why. We know why because, look, the white man ain't going to put out his money in our bank. Why would he if we won't even do it?
In the olden days, we didn't even put it in the bank. But what I'm saying is that the purpose of banking is to increase your money. To put it in a safe place. To put it in a safe place. You don't want to put it where you're going to lose it every time you see a statement. You got less and less.
But I hear what you're saying. But if you know the why, at collectively, here we go again. Just going back to what you asked me earlier. We know the why.
Well, I'll tell you what you're saying is true, and this goes back to the Willie Lynch speech, where he told the slave owners if they would use fear, distrust, and envy among the slaves, putting old against the young and the light skin against the dark skin and the age, different things, the differences. If they would use the differences and cause distrust, that this would last for hundreds of years, even thousands. This is what he used on the people in the West Indies. Willie Lynch speech. That's from 1712.
Mm-hmm.
And they still have that same mentality. We don't trust each other. We fear each other. We envy each other. That's why we can't come together.
Right. We still have colorism here. We still talk about team light skin and team dark skin, which I think is utterly ridiculous. It grosses me out. We still do that. But you're right. It all comes from back in those days. But that's what I'm saying. Going back to what we were just talking about, now that we know what the issue is with Commonwealth National Bank, collectively we could fix that. But you know what? Nobody's going to come together to do that collectively. Because we got you say they fees too high. We got this person over here saying, well, if I do it, it's not enough of us that's going to get together to do it. So that's where I won't work. Now, I've done I've gotten together with some like-minded black folks, and we've gotten together and we've done some registrations at Commonwealth. I've enrolled maybe about 120 people at Commonwealth. And when I say enroll, you don't have to give them all your money. Just deposit $100, because of course I don't want you to lose any money. Give them $100. It doesn't matter how much money you deposit if your fees are going to outweigh the interest that you get. No. You're going to always be in the negative. You're going to always be in the negative if the fees are less than the interest you get. See, I don't want you to keep saying that because that's not true. I've only given them $100, and I gave them $100 over probably about 3 or 4 months ago. I still have my $100. What you have to do, you have to ask questions. And that's what I asked. Now, I could have deposited $50. Yes, they charge a fee. If you can open a savings account with $50, but if you only put $50 in, they're going to charge you a fee. But if you open a savings account with $100, there's no fee unless you decide you want to get paper statements. They're going to charge.
Well, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true because I opened an account with more than $100, and I even asked them not to. If you're going to charge. What charge of fee? I asked, what was the fee? Why was the fee being charged? And he said, for the paperwork to send it to you. I said, well, don't send me any paperwork. I'll come here and pick it up. I tried everything I could with the young lady that worked on me not to pay that fee. I said, okay, well, let's go. It was was it handling fee? Monthly handling fee.
I'm not sure. Well, I'm going to tell you about my account. I gave them $100, and I still have that $100 in my account. So I can't.
So are you
I don't know what kind of account you have, but I asked.
Just savings account.
Okay. So I don't know what you got going on, but in my
if you're getting 2 or 3% interest, and your fee is $12 to $15 a month.
I'm not.
You're not making enough on your money to even pay your interest. I mean, your fees.
Hey, ladies.
I'm putting money in there to help the bank. It's bigger than me.
That's why I did it to help the bank too. But we got to help each other. You can't take.
No.
From the people who are trying to help you.
I guess.
Okay. I don't want to. Excuse me. I don't want to sound like the devil's advocate here, but that stuff, y'all getting kind of deep on that bank stuff. And that's a new show that we got coming up soon about finance.
Okay, Friday night.
Let's say that for that show. Let's drop that right now, please. Let's say that one. Let's say that. Because that's about to go real serious.
But that's part of collectivism. You see how we go back and forth, how we couldn't agree? That's a problem. That is a problem.
That is a problem.
We can't agree. Just like I'm an HBCU advocate right now. Everybody knows Nicole is an HBCU advocate. I fight for the black universities because they're closing them.
Yeah, that's
every
correct.
year. We started out with, like, I think 115. We got like 101 now. And it's amazing to me that when I hear black folk talk down on HBCU, it's like you don't even want to be around your own. Guess what? They don't want to be around you either.
Yeah.
They've proven that to you when they didn't want you to go to the PWI. They've proven that. So that's where another individualism comes from. And think about it, and I've said this before. What if all of these top-notch college football players decided to go to an HBCU instead of a PWI? Paradigm would shift. Do you not understand how valuable that would be? But guess what? It takes collectivism. You know
That's
what?
right.
They ain't trying to hear.
That's right.
So
I agree.
all of it stems from collectivism. They won't. No black person is trying to say, okay, y'all, let's get together and do this and change the paradigm and fix what's wrong. Because there is no way we can have all these black athletes running up and down these white schools and your black school is crumbling.
That's right. I agree.
That makes no sense to me at all. And the first thing they say is because somebody told them, well, you got to go to the SEC or any of the other type of football associations to be seen. Well, how in the hell did they see you in high school? You weren't on TV then. They came and got you from high school. How did they get you from high school? You weren't on nobody's TV. So somebody that brainwashed them and told them, you got to do this. I'm going to give you another example. My daughter attended Jackson State. They went to her school, which is an HBCU. The pro went to her school and snatched up 4 of those black players. Let me say that again. They went to her school and got 4 of those players. So they are still misleading our children because they don't want it. They know if these children start going to HBCUs, the money is going to come to the HBCUs. The only reason people still talking about Alabama is because they winning with our black boys. Think about it, if you go back to the past.
That's right.
Somebody wanted to watch the white man play football. They went over here to the Negro folks because the Negroes was running fast, jumping over folks, doing flips, catches. They wanted to watch the black folks play football. So why would that be any different? But
so how do you propose to get to these people? How do you propose to get to them? How do you propose to get to them to educate them and tell them?
That is a $1 million question. I've reached out. Let me tell you, I've reached out to retired NFL players who attend the HBCU, and they won't even help me. I don't think I can get no better than that. A pro player who attended an HBCU and still went pro, they won't even help me. So again, guess what we lack? Collectivism. Because if anybody can influence a college football player to go to HBCU, would be a pro or a former pro football player who went to HBCU. I couldn't do that, but they could. They won't even help me. Guess what we lack? Collectivism. It all boils down to collectivism. We are the only race that don't have it.
That's right.
We can't get together to do nothing.
Nothing.
We can talk about it. We can say what we want, but we can't get together collectively and successfully do something. We can't do it.
Yeah. Well, I tell you
know
what.
You know who knows that? The white man know we can't do it. They know we can't do it. And
It's
when
a
another
challenge.
race knows more about
They setting
you
us
than
up.
you know about yourself, it's a problem. When everybody else knows more about your race than you know about your own, it's a problem. I.e., when they
You
had
better
that
say that.
fish and Tucker, that fish fry and that tucker for the mayor election.
Come
that
on.
should have
What
been
you
an
say? I was
insult.
thinking about that earlier.
That
Well, I
should have
tell
been
you
an
what.
insult.
Can we take a break? And I want to jump into that real quick. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that because I don't want to expose my head to that. Listen, we're going to take a break. You ladies, hang on. You're listening to Breaking Chains with Healthy Mondays. Hey, welcome. And if you're listening by way of website, blogtalkradio.com/YAT radio, or you can give us a call at 858-357-9137. We're here every Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we would love to hear your voice. Join us. We'll be right back right after this with Breaking Chains with Healthy Mondays on YAT Radio. Hang on.
Yeah, this your world, God, and everything in it. I see you, I guess they think because Hey, Bob, we serve you, right? You told me we supposed to slack up, man. But now that I know what I'm fighting for, let's get it. We go harder. We on now. I ain't gon' waste your time. I sure ain't about to sit and let you waste mine. I'm sick of seeing young boys out there dying. You go and handle yours. I'm on my grind. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind. Granny told your boy that she was proud of me, that I was off the streets and the boy was through thugging. I told her, Granny, baby, don't you worry about nothing. If it ain't about the Lord, then your boy ain't budging. Man, I never did think myself. The word of God will make your boy wanna step. Granny told me that the Lord will meet me. He's still working on me, Granny. He ain't through. I told her, homie, we gon' take it to the block and post up in the hood like we still selling rocks. The only difference is we ain't worried about the cops. Full on my own, we ain't worried about the shots. Flame told me gon' take it to the streets. It's dudes in the hood that the Lord gon' reach. If it mean me dying, Lord still seeing me. We bout to get it in if it mean no sleep. I'm on my mind. I ain't gon' waste your time. I sure ain't about to sit and let you waste mine. I'm sick of seeing young boys out there dying. You go and handle yours and I'm gon' do mine. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind. Let's get it. I'm on my grind. I'm on the road headed to another show. I asked the Lord if He seeing me, I go. Mama happy she ain't gotta worry no more. But the law pulled me over like I'm still selling dope. I told him I ain't trying to go and flip a pound. I'm trying to show him Christ before they put him in the ground. Before them boys catch him, hit him with another round. Since I met the Lord, this the way it's going down. If I'm in your city, take me to the block. Jesus real, homie, I tell it to the cops. Without a bullhorn, I yell it on the block. I wasn't ashamed when I was out there trying to sell a rock. Jacob told me gon' take it to the streets. It's dudes in the hood that the Lord gon' reach. We bout to go hard if it mean no sleep. And we can get it in, no rhymes, no beats. I'm on mine. I ain't gon' waste your time. I sure ain't about to sit and let you waste mine. I'm sick of seeing young boys out there dying. You go and handle yours and I'm gon' do mine. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind.
To leave the hood alone, man. Don't let them roll by. But I'm tired of seeing guys dying from the 4-5. No lie, I'm praying they get to know God, so I'm on the grind with the mind of the Most High. I'm in the hood showing love to a bunch of cats who be all up in the club blowing guns and stacks, screaming life is more than blood, girls and money stacks. Preaching Christ, telling by the blood and he's coming back. They by the street light, holding on the heat tight, set tripping down to lose their life in the street fight. I'm knowing they should seek Christ, cause by far death and jail bars is all you gon' get out of the street life. Gon' take it to the thugs, GG, Crip Clicks and the West Side Blood. Even hard head G's, we just see guys love. When them choppers go black, after that, it's the judge. I'm on mine.
I ain't gon' waste your time. I sure ain't about to sit and let you waste mine. I'm sick of seeing young boys out there dying. You go and handle yours and I'm gon' do mine. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind, cousin. I'm on my grind.
Healthy. How is it possible? Hey, that was Tadashi, my man, on my grind. Thistle in there with him as well. And that type of song right there is where I stand. I ain't got time to waste your time, but I sure ain't gonna let you waste mine. So we're gonna either move forward with some stuff, and that's just the way I am out here. And I play that kind of stuff on the radio too. And it's just serious. Sometimes you just got to have a message that's gonna be serious and straight to the point. Because we wasting too much time out here, and time is on nobody's side. Let's be honest with you. We wear watches, we look at the clock, and we talk about what time it is. Time is man-made. You know what I'm saying? I got to go to the scripture. It says that one day is like 1,000 years to God, and 1,000 years is like one day to God. So trust me when I tell you, time is not on your side. We just in one day. We got to catch up with Him in 1,000 years, and it'll never happen. So listen, let me tell you something. We got to get on our grind. And our grind means that we got to keep doing what we're doing. We got to put the rubber to the road. We got to put some soldiers on the streets. We got to put the foot to the ground. We got to get out here. We got to be seen. We got to be heard at all risks, at all costs. It don't matter how it's got to be done. It's got to be done decent and in order. And guess what? Sometimes you got to take the kid gloves off. You got to remove the sugar from the thing and not sugarcoat it and make this thing real as possible. Because one thing about our young people today, our young people want the truth. They want to know the truth. They want to see you being radical. They want to see you being strong. They want to see you standing up to the enemy. And we got to do that. The elders, guess what? They set in their ways, a lot of them, and a lot of them don't care anymore. So they sit back and relax. Listen, that's no insult to anybody. We just talking facts here. Because one thing about it, we are too quick to say, it ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't happening in my household. They ain't no kin to me, so it don't matter. We quick to push a problem off. It's time to face the problem, face the issue, stand up to it, and pull those strongholds down, and let's break some chains. All right? So let's jump into where we left off, talking about the August 22nd election coming up here in the city of Mobile, the mayor's race, city council's race. And I was living in Atlanta, and I came home, and I saw, let me say this name right so I won't get in trouble because I be joning on him. Sandy Stimpson. Okay, that's his name, correct? He was in our black community giving us free chicken, free fish, beer, liquor, and wine, and saying, come and vote for me. And you know what you did? You went out there and you voted for him. And he ain't did a doggone thing for your community. Understand me now. All the money that he got, he's spending downtown to bring. Let me tell you something. You better get up and drive your city and see what's really going on. You better start holding these elected officials accountable for what they're doing, from the president on down to your city-wide elections. You better start getting up off your butt and open your eyes and shut your mouth and start educating yourself about what's going on. Because if it was left up to me, let me tell you something that a lot of preachers say. I am thankful that I am not God. And I am truly thankful some of y'all ain't God. Because we'll be in a lot of trouble. Let's get it understood now. Let's understand what I just said. I can never be God, but just be thankful. Just be thankful that man is not God, okay? Because there will be a lot more turmoil going on than what we're contending with right now, all right? So when you talk about mental issues, a lot of things that these politicians are doing in your community causes you to be stressed, depressed, angry, mad, and frustrated. In order for you to overcome those things, you got to start doing some research on these people that are running for these offices and make sure that they are qualified to represent you. Okay? They spending your tax money and you ain't even asking why they spending it on what they spending it on. Why are my schools failing? Why are my schools closing? Why? It's because you are not holding nobody accountable. Why did they remove God and prayer from the schools?
Their cousin can ask them for $20 and they want to know where it's going.
And when you going to pay me back? So if you want to get real technical with it, let's get real technical with it then. Stand up and be human beings that you were created to be. Men, stand up and be men in your community, in your homes, in your household, in your church, wherever you are. Stand up and take back your community. Start taking back what's yours and start doing it the right way. We ain't got to keep teaching our children and young men to wear their clothes off their butt and start being thugs. We ain't got thugs in our DNA. We ain't never been thugs. We don't even know how to be gangsters. That's not in our DNA. You understand? We are educated people, and we need to start acting like educated people. We have to do it. Now, let's get to this. This election that's coming up in August. How do we make sure that we elect the right people? You know, that's going to be a decision that you have to make. But we're going to help you with that because that's a mental challenge that you have in front of you right now. Ms. Spears, jump in on that because I want to hear from you.
Yeah, well, you know, this is another, and it goes back again to individualism and collectivism because we have a lot of people that feel like Sandy is doing a great job, and maybe he is in their eyes. In my eyes, no, I don't see it. I don't know him, you know, so I can't represent him. He didn't reach out to me. You know who reached out to me? Sam Jones tapped me on my shoulder.
Me too.
So,
all right.
Of course, I have to go with and hear who tapped me on my shoulder. And so, in my thing, this is the way I look at it. You know, as black people, we tend to never have a seat at the table. Okay? Sam Jones brought me to the seat. Gabe pulled out my seat. I'm sitting at the seat, and he taking notes from me. Okay? Nobody else has done that. So where Sandy may be doing that for somebody else and somebody else that looks like me, that's fine. But I can't represent him because I don't know him. He didn't come to me. So I'm very aware of what's going on with Sam Jones. I'm very aware of what he has done for his community when he was in office. I have no idea. I can't see what Sandy has done. I can see what Sam Jones has done. And that's good enough for me. And here's the deal. When you're humble yourself enough to pull yourself to the community, into the, I call it the matrix. When you humble yourself enough to come to the matrix, to the hood, to the grit of the people, you got to mean business. And that meant
That's
more
right.
to me than anything, because I know how radical I am. Everybody knows how radical I am, pretty much. Everybody knows what I stand for. I'm sure Sandy has heard about me. He could have came and tapped me on my shoulder just as well, even while he was mayor. He did. Sam Jones did. Sam Jones trying to help me do what I'm trying to do for the community. So why would I go any other direction? That makes no sense. So that's who got my vote. I mean, it's no secret. That's who got my vote.
Yes,
and I hope
indeed.
we could collectively, it's a money thing. Campaigning is always about money. And the black community, we struggle to raise money for campaigns. But like you guys said earlier, we'll spend that money on that party or we'll spend that money on that trip. But we won't raise that money for this campaign. So I try to tell people, money really is not the most important. The voting is. Because I'm going to go back to what you said about the fish and the chicken and all that. It's not per se that we voted. Those people he said didn't vote at all. That was the lowest level of voting.
That's right.
Part that he got. He didn't. Nope. We didn't vote. So they didn't even come out and vote. They ate the food, but they didn't vote at all. But my thing was that should have been an insult because nobody should have known that they could come over there and do that to y'all, and y'all fall for it, whether you voted or not. You should have been insulted. It would have pissed me off. That's just like coming to the black community with some watermelon. I would have been insulted. Nobody was insulted. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, how you not be insulted by that? He came over there and brought you your Colt 45, your fish, your chicken, and your tucker. That should have been an insult to them, but it wasn't. And it wasn't because, we're going to go back to mentality. Their mentality didn't even think outside of that. Some of those folks was actually hungry, so they didn't care what it was for.
Yeah.
So you're going all the way back to this. We're going back to the beginning of mental issues. Them folks, they're not thinking like us because they're in their own little box. They're trying to survive every day. So they're not even on the level for us to sit up and say, don't y'all eat this food. They're going to look at me and you both and say, y'all crazy. I'm hungry. I ain't ate in 3 days. Or that young man going to say, I got to feed my family. I'm going to eat all this food and I'm going to take some plates so I can take to feed my mama because she's dying of cancer and my children out here in the street and I'm homeless. They ain't hearing that. But just the fact that he knew he could do that and it worked. Now, here's my question. Has he been back to that community since that moment? If that answer is no, that's the problem.
Exactly.
So whether they voted for him or not, he went to that community and did that, and ain't nobody in that community seen him since he left that community after he said it. That's the problem.
That one meal.
I
forgot all about our people.
It was over with.
Yep.
That should have been a complete insult. So like I said, when one race know more about you than you do, you're going to always lose. Because they already going to one-up you. They're going to one-up you every time because they know more about you and your history than you know about your own self. That's horrible. And that's part of the problem.
Well, they take their time to educate themselves about us. They study us. They study us like we are. They study us like we are a project.
We are.
And we are a project to them. We are.
That. Yes, we are. They absolutely study us. They absolutely do that. Everybody does. And it's not just
everybody does. Everybody does.
And who are we studying? Nobody.
Exactly.
Well,
I love it.
It starts when you go into these little doctor's offices and you do this little survey for $50. Y'all know what I'm talking about? The surveys.
Oh yeah.
They go in and you give them all your information so you can get that $50. You become a part of their study. That's it right there.
And we'll do it.
They start that. They give you that first. You come back. And then they'll let you go in on one of those surveys where you can sit around and have a round table discussion. And they want to know how you think.
Yep.
For that $50 cash. And we don't even have enough sense to understand that that's what they're doing. They're setting us up so they can learn all about us. No, you don't have to use your cell phone to find out about us. All you got to do is go right there to that little survey table, do a round table discussion. And get that $50 cash money.
They need to know. We give them everything.
And they got everything. They got your whole life history. They know your DNA. They got your fingerprint. They got your breath. If you got halitosis, they got that. You know how many rotten teeth you got in your mouth. They got it all.
Yep.
Yeah, they got it all. And we don't have none of it.
And we don't have none of it.
Everything we
have on ourselves.
Hey, all we are left doing is holding that $50, getting ready to go take it to the store to make that $12 trillion grow even more.
Oh, we finna go to the club and make it rain. Make it rain. Make it rain.
Like all the plastic that we use keeps track. All the plastic that we use keeps track for them of how we spend our money.
Yep.
Gives them rate.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tell you what.
So
Well, I tell you what, ladies, we have approximately about 7 minutes, so I would like for go down the list here as we signed off. We'll be back next week, though, ladies and gentlemen out there listening. 7 o'clock every Monday. I'm telling you, we gonna turn up every week. This thing gonna get real serious, and if you got a if you sensitive and you get offended real easy, this is not the place for you. That is my disclaimer. Listen, here we go. Let me do my disclaimer. None of the views or issues are that of Young Adults Talk, Rotten Apple, and its affiliates. All the views are of the personal person's views and their issues, and we will discuss them thoroughly. We will break chains, and we will be radical. That is from me and Young Adults Talk. Thank you. So back to that. I had to give that quick disclaimer. I just made that up. But listen. Ladies, I really enjoyed you all tonight.
We heard.
It was a blessing to have you here. It's not even about what anybody thinks about this or how they feel about what we're saying and what we're doing. As long as we're putting it out there, sowing seeds, a harvest is going to come up somewhere. It may be in another country. It may be in another part of this country. But we are sowing seeds right now. And we will continue to do this. This is our relaunch of Breaking Chains with Healthy Mondays. Tomorrow night we have a different show to bring to everyone, coming on at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, straight out of Sacramento, California. We will be doing a praise, prayer, and worship service tomorrow night. Wednesday night, ladies, I would love to have you back for our Proverbs 31 Ladies Night, where we will be talking about issues dealing with the females. Gentlemen, we are having our own show on Friday night. It's called The Men of Valor, where the men will come together. And ladies, you can also chime in on that too, because I want men to chime in on the Ladies Night show. We have to come together. I'm not trying to separate it, but I am going to separate the conversations, not to separate the people. Men need to hear the issues of the women so we can help you. And women, you need to hear the issues of the men so you can help us. And then we will have, in the near future, we will have a Friday night show for our young people where we want men and women to chime in to help our young people and to educate them. And then, ladies, on Saturdays coming up soon, we will have the show that you've been waiting for so you can talk about the banking issues. We will talk about money, finances, and business. That will be on Saturday. Okay? So let's start. And Ms. Spears, I would like for you to give your last minute comments, and we'll go to Miss Theola and Reverend Kennedy, we will end with you. And if you don't mind, when we get to you, we will end with your comments and take us out with a closing prayer. So, Mrs. Spears.
All right. Well, I thank you for having me. I'd like to let the audience know that I will be releasing my book, Focus, Fearless, and Fighting, a raw and uncut truth on how to raise children of today's youth. It should be coming out in early September or late August. I have a club that I run with someone else called the Six Figure Club, and what we do is teach children and expose them to six-figure careers. We expose them to the people that work in these fields. We also take them to HBCU tours. We bring people in to mentor them that look like them in these careers. And we also allow them to shadow people in these careers that they may choose as they hang with us or stay with us in the organization. That's pretty much everything I have going on. So I appreciate you having me.
Thank you for. I appreciate you coming on. I was hoping that I could get you, and thank you for agreeing to come on. I would love to keep you on and be one of the special co-hosts with us on Monday nights, if that's possible. So thank you very much.
All right.
Thank you, Miss Theola.
Yes. Well, my final words to you is, I pray that you prosper and be in good health as your soul prospers. God cannot use a sick person. So you got to take care of your health. This is what it is, Healthy Monday. And that's what I'm here for. 25 years, more than 25 years of research on how to stay healthy. I will be 71 years old my birthday, and I do not take any medications, not even aspirin. I can outrun a lot of the young ones, and I have perfect health. So I am a living example of what I speak.
Amen.
If anyone has the desire to get off drugs, and I don't care if you buy them on the street or in the drug store, they are still drugs. If you want to get off them, if you're seeking to be free indeed, then see me. I have a book. It's called Vegetarian Soul. It's a teaching book. It's not about cooking and all that. There's a little bit of stuff in there. Things you don't have to really cook, but it's mostly education on how to stay healthy. That's my goal. I have a book list, movie list. I will come to you and speak to you, your crowd or whatever, free, at no cost. Unless I have to travel, of course, that's different. But right here locally, I'm yours. All you have to do is ask. If you want to learn how to become an entrepreneur and stop being just a consumer, but a producer as well, I can teach you how to start a business, how to publish a book, a story, or whatever you want to do. In the performing arts, our ministry, we use the arts to spread the gospel. That's my main goal. I'm seeking to save the lost. By any means necessary. And I thank you so much, Brother Roderick Williams, for giving me a platform to be able to just say the little bit I was able to say tonight. And I will be joining you other nights. And like I said before, whatever I say, I have documentation, literature that I can send to you for free, because that's what I want to do. God is my provider. So,
amen.
Freely I receive, freely I give. Like history, dropout prevention, publishing, natural hair care. Have a new line of natural hair care products that I'm putting out there. Anybody want a job selling them? You mean fashions, crafts?
We about to be signing off, Mr. Miller. We got a minute left. It'll cut us off, and we'll let you do that.
Can I give a number where they can reach me?
Yeah, real quickly, please.
251-343-8138, or you can just go to youtube.com/Theola Bright.
All right. Thank you. God bless you. Reverend Kennedy.
In the name of Jesus, oh God, we come to you this evening thanking you for the opportunity to be able to platform the beginning of Reverend Roderick Williams, Breaking Chains. Oh, God, we pray that you just continue to endow us with your Holy Spirit and continue to give us the knowledge so that we can spread to the word. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, ladies, for coming on with me tonight, and I'll see you this week and definitely next Monday. Everyone that's listening, God bless you. Have yourself a wonderful time out there, and be mindful of what you're doing and where you're going and what you got going on. Until next time, you keep your head up and keep reaching for the stars. We are going. Peace.
Peace.
You've been listening to Breaking Chains with Healthy Monday on YAT Radio. Tune in next week, same time.
Go to our website,
blogtalkradio.com/YAT Radio, or call in 858-357-9137. It's Breaking Chains, YAT Radio, where we leave a mark that can't be erased by breaking the chains of silence.